That and like when it comes up like it's like Higurashi when they cry, but it isn't always the end of a chapter when it appears. I was on my way back home. The cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I'd thought. The orange of the dusky sky was being chased down, little by little, by an indigo color approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Inbizarre without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bicycle and was pushing it uphill. I don't understand any of this. This is probably the second time we've heard this track, because we didn't hear it at all in Onikakushi. It's just like, all of these tracks are like, I guess, public domain, I guess. Because the people who actually, put together the novels didn't actually, compose the music themselves. So you got a variety of things, and I think some of the choices are pretty good. With the exception of that one that's obnoxiously loud, where it's like, well, I feel like if they were gonna use that, alter the volume of it a bit. It's like distortion like crazy on that. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. I don't understand any of this. No, in fact, it might have been much easier on me that way. What happened yesterday really was just my curiosity. It really was no more than a quiet prank, no more than having the courage to cross at a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements, hallowed ground, only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure I'd seen terrifying things that I'd never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now though, it didn't matter what was stored away inside it. It didn't make the wrong I committed any more crimes. What the four of us did, Leon seemed to know about it. Fine, it'll do. You got a C, you got a B flat, and you got what's that? That could be seen as a G sharp on A flat. Yeah, F minor, maybe.
What the Bulbous Leon seemed to know well about it. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the four of us did.
Did we do something so bad? Seriously, if I freaking, did audiobooks, imagine if I did this commentary style alongside it. It'd be like, I don't even know where the story is anymore. This guy keeps rambling and put on stupid voices. Really, it doesn't matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong. It was nothing more than that, yes. I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologize to Leon or Ooishi-san. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. I set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I won't even do something like that again either. I'm sorry. If I apologize like that, would they forgive me? The suddenly cool evening air left no room for such sentiment, however, as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. If I trudged along such an isolated road, regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home to my room, put on my favorite music or something, and go to bed. That might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. Now that I've made a decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this. So I wonder what music he listens to. It's like 1983 or 84, so we're dealing with early 80s music. But it's Japan. I know they get a lot of Western music, like, sold over there as well. And just like, oh, this shit's good, yeah, man. So I wonder what music he would listen to. And then there's, you know, actual music, you know, in Japan as well. That's one thing else that boggles my mind. It isn't Japan, it's Mongolia. Like, maybe like a year and a half ago, I like stumbled upon this band called Haranga. I'm not sure if that's actually how the band name's pronounced, and it's spelled differently. Yeah, because it's Mongolian or wherever. It's like spelled Ha-Ra-Ga. But essentially, they're a Mongolian rock band, and I didn't know such a thing existed. It randomly, when I was like looking through the Wikipedia page on Mongolia, because it's like, I don't know a lot about Mongolia. But then in the music section where it mentioned there, it was like, holy shit, they have rock music. It's pretty good, actually. None of the songs I've actually heard from them are particularly heavy. Mostly the ones I heard were more kind of soft rock, I guess, kind of more of a ballad feel. I quite liked it. So that's... I don't know how old their band is, though. Well, that's... It's just completely got off track there, but yeah. That's certainly something interesting. No point in the race, I sat back on my back. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercifully cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were softly punishing me. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early and returning to my bedroom. My mom called me from downstairs. Keiichi, you have a call. It's from Sonozaki-san. Sonozaki? Was it Mion? No, it was Shion. I just remembered. She had something she wanted to tell me today. I just sounded to interrupt us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she'd call tonight. Hello? Is that you, Shion? Well, ran into a bit of trouble today, didn't we? She said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. She was the one who left me there and ran. Oh, don't say that. I gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? You just sat there looking dazed, Keiichi. I wasn't dazed. All of a sudden you left me there, and after that I had to put up with that Ooishi guy for ages. Don't complain to me about it. I can't believe she passed it off like that. She looks just like me on, and yet inside she's this different. I got a little irritated at myself when I realized I was somewhere in my mind hoping for the same reaction I would get from Leon, even though she's a different person. Sorry. Next time I'll run away first thing and leave you there. Wait. No, that's him then. Sorry, next time I'll run away first thing and leave you there. Hey, it's ladies first! She laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized that she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I stopped blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be... Anyway, you had something to tell me, right? Oh yeah. I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Shion lowered her voice steadily as if she were glancing around. I had no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. At least give me a hint. So that means you don't know. You seemed to take my stupid sounding question as evidence. Whether her voice didn't sound disappointed or exaggerated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night during the Watanagashi festival. My entire body jolted as I was assaulted by my terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask the same thing? Hello, Kid-chan, are you listening? Yeah, I am. But what about last night? The four of us went in there, right? She didn't beat around the bush. Well, and I wanted to admit it, that was the actual honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. And after that, we walked away together and then went our separate ways near the stone steps, right? Takuma-san and Tomitake-san went to the stream and you stayed there, Keiichi. I went over to see some relatives. Yeah, why do you ask? We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions, so let me ask this question first, okay? You mean, did I see Tomitake-san and Takano-san last night? Huh? Oh yeah, did you see the two of them after that? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. This is the third time I've been asked this question today. Why? Why? What the hell was going on? Why? Why are you asking me that? Oh, Kei-chan, I'm asking the question. Please answer me. Did you, Shion? If you answer first, then I'll answer. My shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt now after everything that had happened today. Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth with that response, she finally answered me. That's a weird expression, isn't it? It's like putting your foot in your mouth. I kind of get the gist of the meaning a lot, but visually imagine that. Someone literally is shoving their foot in their mouth. It's like, I'm really straight up on that one. Of course I didn't see them. My relatives were with me and they can vouch for that. I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too, like Mion, Rena, and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else. Thank you for answering me honestly. Okay then, I'll tell you. Apparently last night Takano-san and Tomitake-san died. Sorry, Shion. What was that you just said? Apparently last night Takano-san and Tomitake-san died. Takano-san was found burned to death. Tomitake-san was, well, it looked like a suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it. This is different, isn't it? Like, similar thing happened in Onikakushi, but we didn't really, get anything for Takano. It's just like reported as missing. See, there's like reoccurring kind of patterns, and it all adds up in the end. But I won't spoil anything to do with that. Late last night, a police car on its way back from festival security duty had discovered Tomitake-san lying in the middle of the road heading towards Okinawa. He had clawed out his throat and died. Lovely. It's not as impactful if you've already heard of him dying in that fashion. It's like the first time, it's like, oh my god! But when it happens in this one, it's just like, seen it! What? He clawed out his own throat? That right cheerful Tomitake-san committed suicide? That can't possibly be right. The police did an autopsy. He did it with his own fingernails. He scratched out his throat so hard that he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. He died in a pool of his own blood, that's what they said. I've never heard of such an insane suicide. You can't just scratch open your own throat like that. I realized I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched the cordless phone and ran up to my room. Yeah, they'd have questions with that conversation one day. It's like, what are you talking about, Keiichi? Sorry for yelling. So, it's Takano-san. Is that suicide too? In their case, it's a little unclear. I remember there. Or is it a different place? Because I remember when Keiichi was towards the end of Onikakushi, this background appeared when he was like, I'm not even going to spoil it, even though we've gone over Onikakushi. But if you've seen it, it does kind of look familiar. Maybe it is the same place, maybe it isn't, I don't know. Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. So that's why they were referring to her as, with Gifu instead of her name, because they didn't know the identity. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to the police late that night that they could see flames in the mountains. The firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after there was a request for identical comparison from the Blah Prefectural Police Station in Okinawa, and results concluded that it was Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide since she was in her undergarments and her clothes were nowhere in the area. The oil Rambo had fallen over, so it's also possible she burned herself to death. Couldn't possibly be suicide. If you're gonna die, there are plenty of easier ways, aren't there? This can't be suicide. That's what I think. It's unthinkable that Tomitake-san would kill himself too. After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. And as we calmed our nerves, right then I understood what Shion's story actually meant. I always have to pause to freaking think who's actually speaking, you know? I think it'll end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. You did more than enough to deserve it after all. Deserve? You gotta be kidding! It's not like Shion went to see it with me, I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me, I could have put my foot down. I lost to my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault and no one else's. Shion, last night, when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way? Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never even dreamed something like this could happen. Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me. Besides that, Keiichi, think about it for a moment. Didn't Oyashiro-sama's curse turn out a little strange this year? It was already plenty strange seeing as how Tomitake-san and Takuma-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be strange here? I mean that they found two corpses. Remember what I said. Every all year, one person would die and one person would disappear. This year is the first time two people have been found dead. That may be true, but it's not a huge deal, is it? It is, Kei-chan. Think about it harder. Listen, if two people died because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, in order to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger, two people would need to be sacrificed. Is that how it works? So what? Tomitake-san and Takuma-san died, so now two people are going to go missing this year? I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze. You understand why, Keiichi. I talk to you. I don't think anyone's been confirmed missing yet. I think that those two people have yet to disappear. Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back. Two people have yet to disappear. Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap into a fist around my heart, cold hands feeling around on my chest. Neither of us could say anything. Tomitake-san opened the lock and he died. Takuma-san exposed the ritual storehouse and she died. If two more people were to be sacrificed, then it would be none other than the ones who entered with them. Oh, this has got to be a joke. I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitake-san and Takuma-san had died in a common way like a car crash, I could tell myself it was a coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat and she burned to death, drowned in oil in the mountains. The two deaths were so out of the ordinary that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us, some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued knowing I was running away. In the first place, it's not even in the newspaper, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the newspapers and television. Magazine writers would flood the village too, thinking it'd make for an interesting story. Of course it's not getting reported by the media. That's how it was in the past too. When the incident occurred the third year in a row, there were some third-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Amy's out. fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year it became a big conspiracy where no information about the incident was allowed to be leaked back to the media. I hear the elders in the top brass from the Tomitake family put all the pressure they could on the police. I hear the elders in the top brass from the Tomitake family put all the pressure they could on the police. Then, I mean, the deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy. That's how it is. Of course the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret too, though, so I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can and can't do. It could essentially say they're interfering with a police investigation. The story was unbelievable. People died and yet they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret. If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of Watanagashi, it won't go public. Oh, that's her. If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of Watanagashi, it won't go public. That's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard! Keiichi, before I said how the villagers could be the ones carrying out oyashiro-sama's curse. That's what I mean. At some point a tradition was created here in Higurashi, where every year you're allowed to kill someone on the night of Watanagashi under the guise of the oyashiro-sama's curse. And you know what? Back to Karen Shoujo 2, that took inspiration from the same real-life village. They also had a similar thing on that as well. Where just like it wasn't like, you know, quite as frequent as like this 1 year kind of festival thing, but it had a similar thing with a festival. It's like, it's a lot more kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. The intervals, I suppose, in between each one is a lot longer than, you know, the Watanagashi, essentially. And so it dies on the night of Watanagashi, it turns into the curse of oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into a serial murder incident. In order to avoid negative stigma surrounding Higurashi, those incidents are dealt with in secret. That's insane! Dead and missing people turn up every year. However bad a stigma gets, the police have to draw the line somewhere, don't they? Let's say the incidents happening every year isn't serious, but the police can get the job done when they need to. Well, shit, an interruption, I have food. I knew that was gonna happen, but this scene, just like the other one, is freaking dragging. All the incidents always get resolved individually. Yeah. It doesn't end up being a string of incidents, you know. Just so happens that something unfortunate happens on the night of Watanagashi every year. That's all it turns into. Come on, scene, develop. I'll have to have a cliffhanger for it instead. Most of the criminals responsible for the originalist member were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated. So it was drained and changed resolved. That damn supporting couple who died in the accident on the second year, that was an accidental death, plain and simple. They need a lot of investigation into about the bear to be happy, be homicide, but I enjoy your baby. And then yep, it's the action. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest had him pass away. There were doctors that are planners in their plan. They all had trustworthy medical service. You see, it completely ruins the atmosphere when I freaking got food. I gotta eat, man. That shit will go cold. They even did an autopsy. It concluded that it was an homicide. That was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the damned supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought oyashiro-sama's curse was so infesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while in prison, so the incident was naturally resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved. So then, why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the night of Watanagashi? We have our cliffhanger, ladies and gentlemen! I don't usually do cliffhangers, surprisingly, with this one, but I do. It's when I split up like a single recording session into multiple parts. I usually do it that way. But ending the whole recording with that doesn't happen as often. But yeah, I've got food, so yeah. We'll continue this next time, so I'll see you next time, viewers. Next time.